All right, so in the past week here, I have listened to the book Essentialism. Now, this book kind of talks about minimalism or essentialism, and it talks about how we need to really focus on the essential few things in our lives and then just ignore or not do the trivial many things. So there's a lot of things that I think a lot of us do that are just really not essential, and it is because maybe someone asks you to do something, or just things come up and you feel like you want to try everything, you want to do everything, you feel like in order to work hard, to be busy, you need to do absolutely everything. And this really talks about how it is better to focus on a few things and do them really well instead of going ahead and doing everything. Now, I've talked about this before, like instead of, let's say you have 10 units of energy that you can spend in a day, instead of spreading them out over all these other things, are you better off just saying, you know what, if I don't do these 5 or these 8 things, I am able to put all of my energy into these 2 or 1 things that would be way more important. I would be able to do a way better job at that. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole idea of this. And I'll go into a couple of quick points real quick. I think we'll do like 5 or 10 points, and yeah, we'll get you guys out of here. So the first one we're going to talk about here is spend time exploring. Now, contrary to what it may sound like, essentialists don't really just not do a bunch of things. They go ahead and they try a bunch of things, but then you decide what you really want to focus on. You do that. So you can't just try everything and do everything, but you can try a bunch of different things one at a time and give them a fair shot, and then move on to the next one until you find what you want to do and kind of find your passions, which is similar to a recent book that I did. You guys can check that out right there. No, it's right there. There you go. And so yeah, that was that quick point. The next one here is realize that you have choices. Now, you're gonna have a lot of choices right now, especially in America. There's been more choices than there have ever been before. You can choose to work doing anything you want. You have a lot of choices about your life, about your finances. So realize that you have those choices. Go ahead and make them. Don't get analysis paralysis, where you're just you have so many options you don't know what to do. Go ahead and make a strong decision about things and then move on to the next one. And it's okay to say no to things. Just make the choice of what you specifically is best for you, and don't let life make that decision for you, or other people, your friends, your family. It's also good it's good to listen to people, but don't let everybody tell you what to do with those decisions. So another one here that I really like is to define your purpose, your passion, to follow that one thing, and that will make a lot of decisions for you. So if you know that your main goal is to reach financial independence, let's say, because that's what my channel is mostly about, then that will impact a lot of other choices and make them for you, so you don't have to make those choices. So if you say, I am a financially independent person who does financially independent things, so I don't buy new cars, I don't waste money, and I cut out these other things, I live purposefully, then that just made a bunch of decisions for you. I'm not just going to go out and do that. So that decision is made for you. And a financially independent person researches and learns and continues to try to better themselves. So that will make a lot of decisions for you if it is better to waste time and money doing this thing, or you could still spend that same time and money and better yourself and be happier. So the next one here is just to focus on the vital few. That kind of ties into what we were just talking about, where a lot of times, like, let's say you wake up in the morning, you make a checklist of things that you want to do that day. Now, if you have 10 things, you're probably not going to get through all of them. So you might be better off having a checklist of 3 things or 5 things and getting those done, the most important things that are absolutely critical, and do those. Like, focus on the vital few before you go on to the trivial many things. Or if it's possible, just cut out the other stuff, because if it's not important, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Though they talked about the 90% rule. So you kind of look at things like, if you're not 90% into this, like if you're not 90% committed to this, then you're 0% committed. So it's like heck yes or no. There's no like, yeah, that's a good idea. It's yes or no. If it's not clear, if it's not a clear option, then no, it's not an option. So the next one they talk about here is editing your life, which is the same kind of thing. So a good editor in a movie, let's say, will cut out a bunch of different stuff so that the only thing left in that movie, if it's a good movie and a good editor, will be like the essential parts of that movie that tell a storyline, that have a purpose. They'll cut out the scenes that, like, yeah, that's a good scene, but does it really add to this movie? So you need to look at your life and say, does this really add to my life? And, you know, is this really worth it? And if it's not, just go ahead and cut it out, because you'll probably be happier for it. So a lot of people don't even have time anymore, myself included. Like, every hour of every day is just packed with work. So at some point you need to go ahead and edit stuff out. Like, you know what, I just need some time to think, to read, to relax, whatever it happens to be. So I'm going to cut out this thing because it is not my highest priority. It might add a little bit of value, but if I'm able to cut out this little bit of value for something that's going to give me this much value of being more rested, more relaxed, more focused on this other thing that is more important, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut that out. That's all I got. The next one is to say no. Say no to a lot of things in your life. When someone asks you to do something, if it's not going to provide value to you, then it's okay to say no sometimes. I know a lot of people who, just because someone asks them to do something, to go to an event, to do a project for them, will say yes. A lot of the times it might be uncomfortable for you to say no, but it might actually improve a lot, and then they'll figure it out on their own. They'll go have somebody else do it. It's not something that's going to be really that essential, but it could cost you a lot of time when you just get in this pattern of mindlessly, someone asks you a question and you just say yes because you don't want it to be awkward by saying no. But yeah, saying no is something very important and can save you a lot of time down the road, because someone asks you a question to go to this conference or whatever, and you just say yes, yeah, I'll go, yeah, that sounds fun. And then you get there and you're like, oh, why did I do this? But if you had just taken a little bit of time and said, you know what, I'll check my calendar and I'll get back to you. Or, you know, just saying, you know what, I'm not sure if I'm free that day. Or you can just say, you know what, I don't think I'll be able to make that. I'm sorry. You know, they might be upset for a few minutes, but they're going to be fine after that. It's really, you have to take control of your life so that you don't let everything else come fill in your life and make these decisions for you. So you can just, take control of your life and just say no to a lot of stuff, and you'll find that you have a lot more free time and a lot more time to spend on the essential things in your life that will add a lot of value and happiness. So the last one we got here, it's my personal favorite. It is sleep. Sleeping is very important. They recommend, like, a lot of people, like, if you're a real go-getter, you're a workaholic, you might be, you know, like, oh, I'm fine on sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, and, you know, I just drive, and they're saying that's not a good state to be. I forget what the percentage was that they said, but if you were sleep deprived, it's like being a little bit drunk. I forget what the percentage is. It's like a 0.1 alcohol in your blood or whatever it is. But you get in that state and you don't realize that you're in it. So a lot of people, I know a few people who sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, and they are constantly, you can't think as clearly, you aren't as rested, you can't make as good a decisions, you're not as emotionally strong because you don't have enough sleep. But if you get into that cycle, you don't realize that you are sleep deprived. It becomes your new normal. And then, so they highly recommend getting 8 hours of sleep a night at least, whatever is good for your body, where you're able to be rested. You might say, yeah, but I need that extra, 2-3 hours to get more stuff done. But on the other hand, there's probably enough time in the day, you're probably wasting those hours somewhere else, and you will be able to make them more efficient hours, more essential hours, or get more essential stuff done if you are able to make better decisions, if you are able to think clearer and you're more rested and you're not going to be dragging later in the day. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. This will be the last book review for a little bit. I did the 5 books on that 5 books in 5 week challenge. That was a little rough, but you definitely do learn a lot of good things, so I'd highly recommend you just keep learning. If you don't think you have time, listen to some podcasts. I have a podcast with my brother, FI Brothers, if you want to check it out. I think it's the most recent video before this one. Or you could also listen to some other podcasts about whatever you're interested in. Just continue to learn and better yourself. Or you can listen to Audible, so on your way to work, you have a choice to listen to music, or you can listen to something educational that's going to help your life. And the music might be good sometimes. I definitely listen to music, but you have to balance it out so that you can keep growing. You want to make sure, especially once you're done with high school or you're done with college or whatever, you don't stop learning then and therefore stunt your like mental growth. You want to make sure that you continue to learn and better yourself and better yourself and better yourself and learn the things that you are interested in so that you can really excel at those things that you are really interested in. Like, I am really interested in financial independence and real estate. So I've listened to hundreds, possibly thousands of hours of these just different topics and learned and studied and read articles and watch YouTube videos about it and just really learn it. And then you become really good at it. You start to just realize that, like, wow, I actually know a decent amount about this because I've read pretty much everything there possibly is to know about it. And whatever that happens to be for you, you'll get a lot closer to your goals with that thing if you are continuing to learn things and continuing to, you know, better yourself and keep moving towards that goal and focusing on that essential few things. So that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching and hope you have a good day.